Have you ever stood at the edge of your own truth, trembling, knowing that to step forward might mean losing everything you've clung to for approval? Nietzsche once whispered a secret to the world. To live authentically is to court rejection, to invite hatred, and yet, in that very act, to find a freedom so raw, it burns. We grow up cradled in the arms of acceptance, taught that love comes from bending, from pleasing, from fitting into shapes others carve for us, from the first nod of a parent to the fleeting likes on a screen. We learn that safety lies in being seen as enough, never too much, never too strange, never too real. But what if the cost of that safety is the quiet murder of your soul? Nietzsche saw through this masquerade, calling it a herd instinct, a collective trance, where individuality is traded for the comfort of the crowd. Imagine a life where every word you speak, every choice you make, is a rehearsal for someone else's applause. That's the cage we're born into, a prison of smiles and nods, where authenticity is the rebel knocking at the bars. Rejection stings, not because it's personal, but because it echoes an ancient fire. Exclusion meant death once, in tribes where survival hung on belonging. Today, that instinct lingers, whispering that to be cast out is to be nothing, even as our spirits ache to stand apart. Nietzsche didn't just see this, he lived it, a solitary voice shouting into a wind that carried his words beyond his time. He asked us to weigh the chains of approval against the wings of truth. Do we dare to fly, knowing the ground may never catch us? The herd, he said, moves as one, grazing on mediocrity, fearing any step off the worn path. To break away is to risk their glares, their silence, their scorn, but it's also to taste a solitude that hums with life. We wear masks not because we love them, but because they shield us from the mirror of judgment. Yet each mask we don tightens the knot around our essence until we forget the face beneath. Authenticity isn't a gift handed to us. It's a fire we must tend, a flame that demands fuel, courage, defiance, the willingness to be misunderstood. Nietzsche knew this fire could light the world or burn us down, and still he urged us to strike the match. Society rewards the tame, the agreeable, those who nod in unison and never ask why. But the ones who shift the earth, the poets, the dreamers, the outcast, scary scars of rejection like badges of honor. What does it mean to live as a free spirit, unbound by the scripts we're handed? For Nietzsche, it's to dance on the edge of the abyss, to question every truth until only your own remains. We're taught that morality is a compass, fixed and universal, guiding us toward virtue. But he saw it as a leash, crafted to tame the wild within us, to keep us grazing with the herd. A free spirit doesn't reject right and wrong outright. They rewrite it, sculpting values from the raw clay of their own existence. This isn't chaos, it's creation, a rebellion that builds rather than destroys. To walk this path is to shed layers, beliefs borrowed, fears inherited, till you stand naked in your own truth. It's a stripping away that leaves you raw, exposed, but alive in a way the crowd can never know. Nietzsche's words cut like a blade. God is dead, he declared, not to mock faith, but to mourn the collapse of absolutes we lean on. When those crutches fall, we're left with nothing or everything, if we dare to build anew. The death of old values isn't an end, it's a beginning, a void where the authentic soul can plant its flag. But most cling to the wreckage, afraid to face the silence where new meaning must be born. That silence is heavy, a desert of doubt where nihilism whispers that nothing matters. Yet Nietzsche saw beyond it a horizon where the Superman rises, not as a savior, but as a self-made soul. The Superman isn't a caped hero. It's you, me, anyone who dares to live whole, unbroken by the world's demands. It's integrity forged in the crucible of rejection, a life that answers to no one but itself. Picture a world of masks, everyone playing their part, eyes darting for approval, mouths curved in practiced grins. Now imagine one who steps off the stage, mask in hand, and says, "This is me." That act, so simple, is a quiet earthquake, shaking the foundations of a society built on pretense. Nietzsche believed such a soul doesn't just live, it inspires, a beacon for those still lost in the play. Integrity isn't loud. It doesn't preach or demand applause. It's a still presence, a refusal to bend, a strength that grows in the spaces where others falter. We're conditioned to hide our cracks, to polish our flaws until they shine like virtues. But the Superman embraces the mess vulnerability, doubt, the jagged edges on finds power there. This isn't perfection, it's wholeness, a life where what you feel, think, and do align like stars in a constellation. It's rare because it's hard, a choice that costs more than it promises. The world doesn't cheer for the honest, it envies them, fears them, pushes them to the margins. Yet in that exile, there's a freedom no crowd can offer, a peace no praise can match. How do you live this in the grit of daily life when rejection looms like a shadow? It starts small, saying no when your soul demands it, choosing truth over ease, silence over noise. You'll lose some along the way, friends who liked the old you, doors that slam shut. But what you gain is a clarity that cuts through the fog, a sense of self that no loss can shake. Rejection isn't failure. It's evidence you're breaking free, a sign the mold no longer fits. Nietzsche would say it's the price of becoming, the toll for crossing into your own territory. Cultivate quiet moments alone, pen on paper, breaths in the dark to hear the voice beneath the chatter. That's where authenticity roots, in the stillness the world can't touch. Criticism will come, sharp and unasked for, but it only wounds where doubt festers. Stand firm in your truth, and those arrows fall like rain on stone felt, but unfelt. The ones closest to you may turn away, unable to see the you that's emerging. Let them go with love, knowing their departure reveals who stays for your soul, not your shadow. Build a core so steady that no storm external or internal can topple it. This isn't pride. It's faith in your right to exist as you are, unshaken by the need to be seen. Live with purpose, not performance. Choose what feeds your spirit, even if it starves your status. Over time, the sting of rejection fades, replaced by a strength that needs no echo. You don't need a crowd, just a few who see you, truly see you, and reflect your light back. Authenticity draws them like moths to a flame, slow but sure. Nietzsche's call isn't easy, it's a gauntlet thrown at your feet, daring you to pick it up. But each step you take toward your truth rewrites the story you've been sold. Radical authenticity isn't about being flawless, it's about being real, raw, relentlessly yourself. It's not a destination, but a way of breathing, a rhythm only you can hear. The world may never understand, may never clap or nod in approval. And yet, in that solitude, you'll find a life so vivid it drowns out the silence of their absence. Being hated for your truth is a small coin to pay for the vastness of living unbound. Nietzsche knew this, lived this, died for this, and left us the map to follow. So here we stand at the crossroads of conformity and courage, masks in hand, hearts exposed. What will you choose? A love that demands your disguise, or a truth that sets you free? Tell me, in the quiet of your own soul, what have you buried to be loved? And what would it take to unearth it now?